Hello everyone, this is Leonite with Leonite Gaming. Welcome back to episode 3 of my Agrarian Skies 2 Let's Play. So last time what we ended up doing was we got ourselves some 10-10-10 wheat, and I went ahead and got a bunch of, got this set up to automatically process the wheat, pushed into the barrel, and output. So I did a bunch of harvesting to get a bunch of dirt for what we're going to do over here today. I also went ahead and sifted through a lot of the dirt and got some of all of the different seeds, and as you can see they're all 10-10-10s along with the lettuce. So we can go ahead and start crossbreeding these whenever we want. Another thing that I did was I got this production table from Steve's workshop, and these are really cool. You can basically take a furnace or a crafting station or a crafting table, put them in here under the upgrades tab, and you can put in additional upgrades in here. We'll get into those probably a little later this episode actually. And then it's basically 4 furnaces in one. And you put your fuel down here in this spot and it'll fill up as a buffer and it won't waste fuel, which is really awesome. And I also found out that one piece of coal, instead of smelting 8 items, will actually smelt 16 in this table. So this is probably a very good way to do that if you're worried about efficiency. I also put one in here, which is set up with crafting tables, and one of the extensions that I added in here was extra storage. So each table has 6 extra slots that you can store things in, which really makes it nice. And this is just like a crafting station. You can put things in there, close out, and they stay there. So that's really nice. But we do have a couple quests that we can do here, 4 actually. So I went ahead and did this last portion here that for some reason didn't register, so we'll claim that reward. And that opened up Tinker Toys. So Smeltery, which we're going to have to get into a smeltery today because I also did a lot of sifting between last episode and this. Yeah, I did a lot of sifting. So actually I'm going to pull these out quick. So we're going to make some grout. So you can make grout 2 ways. You can either use 1 clay block, 4 pieces of gravel, and 4 pieces of sand, and that gets you 8 grout. Or 1 piece of clay, 1 sand, 1 gravel gets you 2 grout. They're identical in recipe and how cheap they are, but it's just a matter of preference for doing that. So we're going to put these in here. Grab a stack of coal. We'll just toss that in there. And as you can see, it fills up this power bar and slowly begins using it as it cooks. Alright, so what else do we have here? We made a barrel last time, so we can complete that one. Mob hunter's one of them. I went and killed a bunch of things between last episode and this. So we got all the creepers. We got 2 blizz eggs. Cool. Go ahead and take the reward bag. Just about to the zombie one too. Awesome. And then we got Podzol last time as a reward, so we're going to go ahead and claim this one. Now Podzol is really actually kind of cool because if we, well, yeah, we'll take a look at the recipe. Dirt, and it has to be spruce leaves around. It gives you Podzol. But what it can be used for, it can be used for a lot of different things actually. But sifting, you can get all the different types of Botania flowers, so you can start getting the petals. And these are at peak, they're twice as good as the normal Botania flowers, but we'll get into that in a little while. I'm going to put all this stuff in here. Open up the reward bag quick. Oh, experience. Cool. Alright, so, like I said, I did a lot of sifting between last episode and this. I went up over here, and this is the reason why I set it up the way that I did, is you can pop in here and just use the hammer on this guy, and I ended up getting like almost 20 stacks of gravel just to sift. Also a couple stacks of dust just so we had the redstone that we needed. But we got almost 2 stacks of iron ore basically. So we're going to be doing pretty good once we get that smeltery set up. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to cut the video here and I will be back once this stuff is done cooking up and I am ready to start making the smeltery, which I actually set up an area for right here. So I'll be back in a little bit. Alright guys, so I went ahead and got this all set up so you can see all the different recipes here. So if we take a look real quick at the quest, they want us to make a seared tank, which we have that laid out here, 8 seared brick and 1 glass. Go ahead and grab that, and that'll give us the mighty smelting book right away. Then also a smeltery controller, which is here, just 8 seared brick and no glass in the middle. Grab that. A smeltery drain, which is this, 3 on each side. And then finally 16 seared bricks, which is just 4 of them together. So we'll go ahead and grab those. And that should complete the quest, which gives us the gear cast. So we can finally start making machines now, which is awesome. So claim that. Now casting. Wants us to make a casting table. A casting table is made just like so. Let's go ahead and grab that. Claim that reward. We already got some iron earlier. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get that a little bit. Copper. So we're going to start melting all of our stuff down. Now, the one other thing that we need in order to get this stuff to work correctly is we're going to need a faucet. You can go with thermal expansion's fluid ducts. You have to use the hardened ones. The normal ones, let's see here. Take a look at the fluid ducts. Temperate fluid duct. Will break if contents are extremely hot or cold. So liquid cryotheum will not flow through this. Neither will lava, nor any of the molten metals, etc. None of those will flow through this. They'll actually cause a minor explosion that destroys just the duct. So it's not too bad, but in order to start moving the stuff around through pipes, you need to go with a hardened fluid duct. Now these guys here, they're really easy. Copper and some glass, or this one, copper and some lead. If you want to make the hardened ones, it's Invar and hardened glass, or hardened aluminum glass. Or Invar and some lead. This would probably be the first one that we go for, but we don't need that just yet. We'll get to it, but we don't need it right now. So let's grab this, move this stuff out of the way. And I also created a little bookshelf to hold all of our books that we have, a couple backup quest books that I got, just to make sure that it stays out of our way. So this stuff away. And like I said, I have this area here set up for the smeltery. So I'm going to, since it wanted us to make 16 of these, I'm going to make a full-size smeltery. So we will put there, there. Put that there, that there. Put the drain here. I made one too many. Oh well, we'll need it later. We're going to put the tank over here, and the reason why I'm putting it here is I'm going to run a fluid duct from this crucible down to the tank here. And then if we put this here and this here, ta-da! We now have a smeltery. You know it's working because this lights up. If, say I break this, this now goes off, letting you know that this is not a valid smeltery. And these can be very small or quite large. I'm not sure what the maximum size is, but you can make this have just a 1 block area in the middle. This one has 9 in the middle, right in here. You could have it make it 1 block if you want it to make a very basic one. So that's all up to you on how you want to do it. But I just decided to go with a full-size the normal size smeltery from earlier versions of Tinkers Construct. And one other thing that I did not mention before, we do have iguana tweaks on here. So we have our different tools. They actually level up. They get modifiers, and they also get additional modifiers. So you can add modifiers yourself, and you also get them for free. So I did have to upgrade my hatchet into an obsidian hatchet because when I was doing all the sifting, I ended up getting a couple rubber tree seeds. So I grew up the rubber trees. Come to find out that, if we just place this on the ground here, if you look on Wayla up there, effective tool, axe, harvest level, bronze. We had a flint pickaxe, or flint hatchet. That was not able to cut this down, so I was left with just a giant log in the middle of my base right over here. So I went ahead and made a piece of obsidian, and got a hatchet head. To make obsidian, well, I'll do that in a minute. I'll let you guys know that in a minute, once I actually get some once I get some more iron for making an actual bucket. So we're going to put this guy in here. The chest, push it here. And then we're going to need some aluminum brass. Luckily, we got some. Now, also with iguana tweaks on here, when you make a cast of something, it consumes the material that was used to make the cast. So I'm going to use something that's really cheap, seared brick. Seared brick can be made either with grout, or once you have a smeltery set up, seared stone. Now, seared stone can come from melting down stone, any of your stone parts. You can even do it melting down cobblestone or the compressed cobblestone. Let's see here. Where's the regular cobblestone? There we go. Regular cobblestone. Makes 18 seared stone. And again, to do this, it's 36. So 2 cobblestone equals 1 seared brick. Really cheap. So we put this in here, right-click on the faucet, and lo and behold, we have an ingot cast. So it wanted us to get 2 copper ingots. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Now the smeltery, for those of you who don't know, can also be used to mix metals. If you want to do it without the smeltery, you have to use the induction smelter from thermal expansion. And this requires a lot of invar, so in order to make this, you would have to... The invar powder? Yeah, so you can make this without the smeltery. It's pulverized ferrous and 2 pulverized iron, or dust, or however you want to get it. And that gets you your invar. Smelt that up, and you can make that the induction smelter. But we're going to go ahead and use the smeltery here as our primary means for mixing, at least right now. And we'll go ahead and automate this process a little while later. Alright, so we got those 2. Claim that one. Now I want bronze. So bronze is a blend of tin and copper. And the ratio for it is 1 tin to 3 copper. And each, since these count as 2 each, this will end up making us 8 bronze. So we'll go ahead and toss all that in there, and that should smelt up pretty quick. So while that's smelting, I'm going to talk a little bit about what my plans are for out here. So in a lot of the other, in Agrarian Skies 1, I ended up building just a ramp out here, have my tree farm on the left side, and my food and other miscellaneous things on the right side. When I was toying around with Agrarian Skies 2 in just an individual world that I wasn't streaming or anything on, I came down here and I punched through this wall here, and I ended up building a ramp out this way down below, and had basically an access area underneath everything, and that worked out really well. I think what I'm going to do though is I'm actually going to have the access area on this main level, and have all of the farms and everything elevated up a little ways, like 6 blocks or so. It'll just make it easier for getting around, because it's kind of annoying going in the house, going down to the bottom, and running around wherever I want to go. So I think I'm going to have all of my access ramps on this level, and everything that I actually want to really be dealing with a little bit higher up. Alright, so we do have 8 ingots of bronze. So I'm going to get 2 of these real quick, and that should complete the quest. Hooray! And this Tinker's Alloy Blend it's the exact same thing as bronze, it's just different in the ore dictionary sense. Alright, now steel. Steel needs to be made in an induction smelter. As far as I'm aware, there is no other way to make it, and that is a combination of 1 iron ingot and 2 charcoal dust, or is it 4 charcoal dust? Let's take a look. Steel, here we go. Steel. Oh, Infernal Blast Furnace. Oh, this is, I think, a Thaumcraft add-on that adds that. Pulverized charcoal, 4 of those, and a steel gets you that. You can also find pig iron in the Nether, but we're not ready to go there yet. Pulverized coal, 2. That gives you a steel. So, alright. What else do we have in here? Gold. Well, we can go ahead and get that quick. Alright, so while that's melting down, I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the components that these production tables can have. And these are from Steve's workshop. So the production table itself, really simple. It's a blank upgrade and 3 planks, 5 cobblestone. The blank upgrade, 2 planks and 2 smooth stone for 1. Really simple. Extra storage is just 1 of those with a chest. And so I made 4 of those for the production table inside. So there's a lot you can do here. You can also make an auto crafter, which makes, as it says, converts a crafting table into an auto crafting table. And if you hold shift, it lets you know what it works with and if you can stack them. So it works well with crafting tables. That would mean that this is for you have to have 1 each of these if you want each of them to craft. It doesn't stack well, so there can only be 1 of them in each area. Same thing with this. Crafting tables doesn't stack well. Now, charger. You can have 8 of these. Now what these do is they will consume power. It's not quite as efficient as is just taking the power directly, but it will consume power and it will charge up the components so that way they can use that power without having to access this power right away. And it works with crafting tables for the auto crafting upgrade as well as with furnaces. Production speed, same basic thing, stacks up to 8 times, works with furnaces, crafting tables. If you have 8 of these in here for a furnace, this becomes probably as fast as a top tier redstone furnace. It is insanely fast, except you can have 4 of them. It's kind of ridiculous. Input queue. So what these do, these work with furnaces. This will make it so that way there are 3 additional slots, up to 3 over here, that you can dump items into. And it will process what's in the first one, move on to the next, pull these into here, and they'll all shift down. So you can basically have 4 items ready to be smelted at any one time. We're going to make use of this once we get into the auto sifting and auto processing all of our materials. It really comes in handy. Now this fuel efficiency one, this one is the first one that works for the entire production table. So adding these into down here, these global upgrade slots, you can have 4 of them. It reduces the amount of power that it takes per operation for each of these. And that works for auto crafting as well as smelting. Lava generator, and again, it's for the entire production table. You can basically pump lava into here. It'll fill up power based on lava. Solar generator, same basic principle, except it gets power from the sun. It's not a huge amount, but if you're not doing a lot with it, that plus these chargers work really well together. Now auto transfer. This one again is for the entire production table. This one allows you to pipe items into and out of your production table. Now you can configure each of these. So if you look in here in transfer, if you take a look, you can choose each of your different 4 as well as your fuel slot. You can choose top, bottom, and then any of the different sides. And these have different icons on them, really good for people who are colorblind. You can see at a quick glance which side is which just by looking at it. Like this has the green area in the center, or that little spot in the center, that's your front side, etc. So that's what that one does. Now this filter, I haven't really worked with the filter very much, but from my understanding is you can basically say, hey, only allow these particular items to go in or be pulled out, I believe. And then transfer capacity increases speed at which items can be pushed in and pulled out. So all in all, it's a very small mod, but incredibly powerful. Alright, so our gold should be done by now. So go ahead and pull that down to the bottom. So the only thing that will come out of your drains is whatever is on the bottom. If you want to change what gets pulled out, you can just left click on it and that'll pull it down to the bottom. We'll do that. Alright, so we got our gold and a couple pieces of Invar. So now it wants some silver. Get this stuff out of the way here. Don't have too much in the way of silver. Silver and shiny and platinum were kind of rare from my understanding of when I was doing all of the sifting. And I did kill a bunch of mobs over here between episodes. Nothing really too good dropped, a bunch of heads, and that was about it. But get all this bronze out of here quick. Alright, so that's it for the bronze. Just dump all this in here, go ahead and process that later. And I did set up another barrel here just for all of our slabs for what we're going to do for making our platform out there. Now what I might do is I might come down to the bottom here and I might build a giant platform just on the bottom, and just as kind of a safety net for if I happen to fall or if something falls, I can go down and retrieve it. Now if you look at Wayla, this says Quest Gate System. There's actually a block here, or there's not. It's a visible block. Alright. But this is Jaded Cat, the NPC, and you can go in here and trade with her, and she has... Okay, looks like we crashed. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back, guys. Alright, let's not go interact with Jaded Cat NPC over there. So what she normally does have is you can trade with her for different presses for applied energistics. But if we look at the Applied Energistics tab, and where are the presses? There we go. Silicon press. You can get them by just sifting different blocks. Like to get your silicon, you sift a block of tin. Another one is copper. Another one's iron, and that one's your copper. Let's see where the other one's at. Lead. So iron, lead, copper, tin. Those are the four that you can sift to get those. And I think that's the way that we're going to end up getting them. I think I should probably do some iron here. So I'm going to go ahead and smelt up some stuff and try to get this a little bit more automated for fuel at least. So I'll be back in just a little bit. Alright guys, so I'm back. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make myself a couple hardened fluid ducts. Like I said, 2 Invar and a lead, so we'll pull that out. And I made a couple servos, which are crafted just like this. Iron nugget, 2 iron nuggets, 2 iron ingots, redstone, and glass. And what we're going to do here, and I made this a little difficult to get around. If we put that there, put the servo on here, because this doesn't auto-eject, right-click on it with an empty hand, go up here, ignored. And so this will pull all the lava, or a bunch of lava, out of here, fill that guy up, fill up our fluid ducts. Actually, it pulled out right around 8 buckets worth of lava. So there's 4 buckets in there, and probably another 4 buckets in here, and this is in the process of making more lava. So now that we have our lava automated going into here, I can continue using this later on. So let's go in here real quick. Silver. That's done. Now it wants obsidian. Alright, so to get obsidian, what you need to do is you get yourself one of these stone barrels. And this is made 6 stone and a stone slab on the bottom. Then what you need to do, where should I set this up at? Yeah. Let's do right here. This will work. Put that there. That's why rainwater doesn't go in there. Then you get yourself a bucket of lava, put it in the stone barrel, and put water over the top of it. And now there is, if you look at Wayla, it says there's obsidian in there. So you right click on that, pulls it out. Now this is obsidian block, and what this wanted was obsidian ingots. So with Tinkers Construct, obsidian is basically just like another ore. So if you toss that in here, you'll see that it starts melting. And this is the best way to know that something can be melted. If this bar on the left side of the item is at least a little bit red when you first put it in there, it can be melted. So the obsidian takes a long time to melt, so I'll be back when that is done melting down. Alright guys, so it looks like the obsidian finally melted down. So we can go ahead and pull this out. So this is a good way to double your obsidian, at least for use with Tinker's Construct. With iguana tweaks in here, you'll notice that this has the reinforced 3 on it because I used obsidian for the head. It looks like a tree grew on top of us. With iguana tweaks, you can get enough modifiers to actually get a reinforced 10 on it. If you get up to reinforced 10, it will never take damage. It actually says unbreakable instead of reinforced X. So that's one nice thing to do. With the automated tree cutters from Progressive Automation, that is actually really helpful. Let's get rid of this quick. So you never have to replace your tools in there, and it's really nice. Hey, look at that, we got another reinforced. And if things fall in top here, they will actually start melting. So, like if we toss that in there, it automatically gets pulled into here. Alright, so we'll go ahead and claim that, get those. We already got a diamond from when I was doing all the sifting. So now it wants exotic metals. Signalum, manasteel, and derium. Not entirely sure why this is in here anymore, because this has been completely removed as an option for making tools with. You used to be able to use these for making tools. Like manasteel had a manasteel pickaxe had an attack power of plus 22 with an additional 2 modifiers without leveling it up at all. It was kind of ridiculous. The signalum, that one wasn't quite as strong. It was like a plus 15 attack power, but it had 8 modifiers right away in the beginning. So it was kind of ridiculous. But so now it wants platinum. So I'll get some platinum here and be right back. And we now have platinum. Get the second one here quick. Alright. So we got, well, shiny, I guess. Shiny is platinum. Alright, so now it wants alumite. Alumite is, if we take a look at NEI here, how do we get alumite? Alloying. So 80 millibuckets of aluminum, 32 millibuckets of iron, and 32 millibuckets of obsidian. So that equates to 5 aluminum, 2 iron, and 2 obsidian will get you, I think it's 4 or 5 alumite. So I'm going to get those quick. So that was 5 aluminum, 2 iron, and 2 obsidian. Because these count as, well, actually, what we'll end up needing to do is, we'll do that guy there. Alumite is actually really, really useful. So I'm going to smelt this stuff up, and I'll be back as soon as I'm done. Alright guys, so it looks like I was right the first time with only 5 of the aluminum. Don't know why I was thinking 10, but anywho. So it looks like you got us 6 ingots of alumite. So we're going to have 12 ingots of alumite. But that's okay. We'll end up using all of it. And probably some extra. Go ahead and get that. Claim that. Now it wants ardite. Ardite, we have to, there's one of 2 options to get that. You can either go to the Nether and find it in ore form, or you can take netherrack, place it on the ground, use a hammer on it, get crushed netherrack, and then try to get some broken ardite. And you need 4 of those. So, crushed netherrack. You can pulverize it, or you can send it through a hammer or hammer it yourself. Now that has a chance of giving you gold, nickel, ardite, a 1% chance, gas tier, 5% chance, broken cobalt, which will probably be the next thing we need, which is again a 1% chance, iron, or copper. Now again, you need 4 of these to make 1 ore. That's a little bit ridiculous to me, but we'll get into that eventually. So we're going to hold off on finishing these down here. Yeah, it's ardite, cobalt, and then manulin, which is an alloy of the 2 together. So we'll have to get the exotic metals. This will take a little while to get, but I do plan on getting Botania started between this episode and next, and then we'll also get some steel, and we'll go ahead and get this, and that'll basically be it for our Tinker Choice. So I'll be right back. I'm going to start setting up to show you guys a little bit about the crossbreeding and how you can get new plants. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I took a look at what we're actually going to need. I'm going to try to go for that mana steel, and the reason why is I kind of want to get the Ring of Magnetism, which is basically just a magnet. Really helpful on skyblock type maps. So I do know, well, we do have, I sifted that podzol and I got 1 white, 1 yellow, 1 light gray, and 1 brown. So we have the whites already, which is the first thing that we end up needing. So between episodes I'll get those to a 10-10-10 as well. But in order to get the first flower that produces mana, we need light blue, yellow, and orange. So we have the yellow already, which is absolutely fantastic. So let's start working on the light blue. So to get the light blue, we need the blue one, which is going to need an allium and a blue orchid. Let's look at blue orchid, dandelion, and poppy. So I have the area here set up for a poppy seed, which is sugarcane and pumpkin crossbred together. So crossbreeding, you know, this one is mature, this one is mature. It doesn't matter which order they're in, it really doesn't. But then you just put the double crops there, get rid of the weeds whenever they pop up. We got a pumpkin seed. I already have enough 10-10-10s of those. We'll just get rid of that. More pumpkins. It's not a, there we go. Now we got a poppy. So if we take this and break it, this should theoretically be a 5-5-5. Yep, 5-5-5. Alright, and if we take a look, we have 8 seeds discovered right now. If we take a look, carrot seeds. Since we've went ahead and got all the basic ones, once you have the actual seed and you analyze it, it lets you know what it takes to make that. So to get a sugarcane, carrot and seeds gives you sugarcane. Pumpkin is potato and carrots. Carrots and pumpkin is melon, etc. Seeds and pumpkin gives you lettuce, etc. Things like that. So let's see our poppy seeds. So we can see what they are, what the fruits are, etc. Again, it's a tier 1. So between episodes, I am going to start working towards getting the light blue and the orange, and I'll basically just try to get a bunch of different ones that I actually need, so that way we don't have to waste time monkeying around with that. The basic process of breeding them is all the same. The only thing that is different is things like this red stodendron, which is another one that I really want to get. In order to crossbreed this, or to even let this grow, it needs to have a machine frame underneath the soil where it's at. So that would end up being, this block right here would need to be a machine block in order for them to crossbreed to create that. Put all this back. And I apologize, I kind of lost track of time. Between episodes, I'm going to go ahead and get the basic frame of the farms over here set up, and we can start getting into some more automation of wood and harvesting our wheat automatically. And we'll try to get into a little bit more of the agricraft, like these water tanks and the valves and irrigation channels and the sprinklers. They're really helpful. Basically, it prevents you from having to have a water source block nearby. You can have basically a little water tower set up, and it will, with the irrigation channels and the sprinklers, it will spread water to a 7x7 area underneath the sprinkler, keeping that area hydrated, and also increasing the growth of everything in that area. So the combination of a 10-10-10 seed that grows fast already, plus having a sprinkler irrigating the area will make it grow so much faster. It's almost ridiculous. I had a 7x7 farm set up with an automatic harvesting process. I used Mine Factory Reloaded, and I was getting in more wheat than what 25 barrels could compost at. So it was kind of ridiculous at how fast things were going. So like I said, between episodes, I'm going to go ahead and get some more seeds set up so we can start getting into Botania. And now that we have the Tinkers Construct Smeltery, I'm also going to start getting some things together for getting some power production and doing some automatic sifting, because I'm really tired of sifting. After sifting through probably 25 stacks of things, I'm really tired of sifting. I'm also really tired of going over there and smashing that same piece of cobblestone with a hammer repeatedly. So I'm going to start looking at getting some stuff set up. Right now I'm just going to set it up right here because I'm not going to have a lot of stuff. But then shortly after that, I'm going to set up an area over here that is dedicated towards just automatic processing of cobble into gravel, sand, and dust, and then sifting that product. After it's done doing that, it will automatically package things up using the auto packer, which is another mod we'll take a look at. This auto packager that can take all of our broken iron ore, our broken ore, crushed ore, and powdered ore, package it up into their actual ore form. Once, if it's the dust form, like iron ore dust, it will be sent over to a series of pulverizers to be processed. If it is the sand or the gravel form, it will be sent over to a automatic hammerer, which, let's take a look at that real quick. Automatic hammer, now these guys are actually kind of expensive because they require an anvil, but we'll only need one of them. So it'll automatically go to here, convert from the iron ore gravel or ore gravel into the crushed version, get sent back over to the auto packer, packaged back up into the ore sand, sent over to the hammerer again, hammered down into its powdered form, sent over to the packer, turned into its ore dust form, sent over to the pulverizers, processed, sent up to a storage area. Now I'm probably going to have a bunch of barrels set up for that, because barrels can hold, as you can see right over here, by default 64 stacks of 64. So 4,096 items. These can be upgraded to store more. They can be upgraded to store a heck of a lot. So if you take a look, the maximum upgrade increases storage capacity by 15,552 stacks. And this, you can get this, especially since Jaded went ahead and added a few more tiers of the upgrades. It used to end at 7, but she added an 8, which provides 255 slots. This takes up 243. So we can theoretically get that on those if we need. The other option is caches from thermal expansion. So the basic one, really incredibly easy to make, just a log surrounded by 4 tin. That can hold 10,000 items. That's pretty dang good. The only downside about those is they don't show how many items are up there. You have to hover over it with Wayla to see it. It has a little progress bar on the bottom that shows you how full it is, but upgraded version stores 40,000, which is the cache surrounded by 4 invar. Going one further, it's a multiple of 4 each time. So this is 160,000 for hardened glass, and the resonant, which holds 640,000. That is a lot of items. That's 4 Enderium ingots. Once we get our mob tower set up and automated killing, that won't be a problem to get all the ender pearls that we'll ever need to make these. So this will probably be one of our primary storage mediums for large quantities of items. But for now, I apologize I didn't get to setting up our farms today, but I will go ahead and do that. I get the framework set up at least, and everything that I need to set them up before I start the episode next time. So until then, this is Leonite with Leonite's Gaming signing off. Hope you all have a great day.